How was your weekend?
Busy as hell.
Yeah.
Just super grateful, man. Last Thursday, I went to Williamsport, Pennsylvania for a college game day feature shoot that'll air this coming Saturday on Tom Sillo, the 58-year-old defensive nose tackle for Lycoming College. Unbelievably inspiring dude, David. So you guys will see that on College Game Day Saturday, and I promise you be very inspired by Tom, his story, and his conviction to not only chasing his dream, but the impact he's had on millions of people to chase their dreams who might have been scared to do that for whatever reason. And then I went to Como for the Crimson Tide and the Missouri Tigers. Fantastic football game. Snot bubbles, man. Licks passed all over that field. And I was thoroughly impressed with Coach Drinkwitz and the team he's built. And I think if that safety doesn't get booted for targeting, which was a vicious, vicious hit early in that game, who knows what happens. But Alabama continues to impress me. Then yesterday I was in Atlanta to interview Josh Allen for Monday Night Countdown tonight. Very inspiring and insightful conversation. You guys will see that this evening. And I'm just trying to get my bubbles level this morning. But grateful to spend time with you. The Aggies 6-0 for the first time in a decade. Very impressive football team, very complete football team. I feel like Marcel Reed continues to improve, as I've said on here many times. I just think he's one of the more impressive players in the country, much less at that position where so much is coming at you so often. Defensively, they're nasty. They run to the football. Elko has done a tremendous job. I saw a statistic this morning that you'll know off the top of your head. This is the first time in our lifetimes or something that a coach has gone 3-0 back-to-back seasons, right? In conference play or something like that. I don't know. Some really good stat about maybe it's the first time an A&M coach has gone 3-0 in consecutive years in the league since y'all joined the league, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, damn good job by him and his staff and what they're building there.
Marty, typically we get right into football, but you always start off with a little bit of gratitude. And since I met you, that's always been your style. Where does that come from? How do you start your? I'm just trying to get to know you a little bit through this process. So, where does that come from, and how do you start your days focusing on that when you're talking about your schedule? Josh Allen, you got NFL, you got NASCAR, you got college football, you've got ESPN, you got SEC Network, you've got your podcast with Jim. So you're all over the place. How do you make time to really focus on that part as you start your day?
Man, I'm married to an angel for 25 years with 3 healthy kids. I think it's faith. I try really hard to live my life with a gratitude mindset, not a comparison mindset. Because, David, you know, in this career, all of us have egos. Every one of us do. And you have to, in some sort of way, to stand in front of people all the time with conviction. And I want to make sure that I exude that gratitude because it is genuine. You know, as somebody who grew up in Appalachia with super hardworking parents who taught me the golden rule from the time I can remember, I think it's an obligation to lead with gratitude, because if you don't, then you're forsaking the blessing of the opportunity. Yeah, I just rolled off all of that stuff, but I can promise you those good old boys and girls who are working 40 on an assembly line, or maybe somebody who's in a cubicle, they're not going to feel sorry for anybody who has this life. It is beyond my comprehension that that's the life that I have and have been blessed with. So, yeah, it's a lot of airplanes, but I ain't working for a living. As a guy who grew up, working on my family farm every day and putting salt licks out at 5:30 in the morning before I went to school, and then went back to the farm after football practice and basketball practice and baseball practice. This is a dream, bro. So that's the only way I know how to answer it. But I'm just God has blessed my family so deeply that I wake up every morning and I spend time in quiet and I journal and I read my Bible to make sure that I maintain that center, because we're just, man, so thankful. We're very blessed people.
Keeping in with the theme of gratitude, you started off talking about Marcel Reed, and I think sometimes Aggies, we expect the train wreck at the end, right? Like, all right, things are good, but like this could happen.
Yeah.
I want you to kind of talk about what A&M has and try to forecast it in this positive light, because you got a great defense. You got a quarterback that makes game-winning plays at the end of games. Yeah, we understand that injuries happen and things can be derailed, and it's happened to A&M quite a bit. For where we are right now, appreciating where this A&M team seems to be headed.
I don't know any other way to say it. I would just be beaming. Again, I feel like this is a really complete team. I feel like there's NFL talent all over the place. And on top of that, there's an obvious culture that's been built of self-accountability and accountability to your brother. And there's a ferocity, and there's, for lack of a better term, there's a violence that this team plays with, and it's a violent game, and that's what you want. And so the league is very hard, David. I'll be surprised if anybody emerges from this league without a blemish or two, because any given Saturday in this league, you can lose if you don't have your absolute A game. And there's so much talent, there's so much depth. The floor of the league is so much higher than maybe it's ever been. But I don't know what else you could want if you're a college football fan, to be undefeated after 6 games of the season, to defend your home the way A&M has, to be explosive offensively the way A&M is, to be so fast to the football the way that A&M is defensively. I just don't know what else you could dream of in the most competitive era of the sport that you could ever know. And when 7 or 8 programs have fired their coaches already because those wheels you're talking about fell off the bus. If you would have told me, man, a month ago that James Franklin would be unemployed. You ever seen Christmas Vacation? Of course you have.
Of course.
You're an American. There's this scene in Christmas Vacation where Clark W. Griswold is lighting up the house. And remember how he's trying to get the cords together? And he's going down the line, and he sees Grandma and he sees Grandpa, and he hugs his wife and Russ and Audrey and everybody, and they're all fired up. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, isn't it beautiful, Eddie? Eddie?" And Eddie says, "You surprised, Clark?" And Clark says, "If I woke up this morning with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be as surprised as I am right now." And at the same time, the standards with all the money we're talking have gotten so high in college football that you got to win. And so, man, if I was you guys and your fan base, I'd be thanking my lucky stars and high-fiving my boys, because Mike's got it rolling, man.
He does, Marty. And then you look around, nobody's going to make an apology for your schedule. And I'm not even talking about A&M schedule. I'm saying, like, poor Billy Napier in that schedule, and what Hugh Freeze is trying to do at Auburn. And every week there's a controversial play or two that people are talking about, from officiating or not finishing games. Like, this is going to cost people some jobs. The carnage is only starting.
It's crazy. I mean, when you look at the list, and you probably know it by heart. Again, I'm a little all over the place mentally with all the stuff I'm doing. But, all right, Brent Pry, I'm a Virginia Tech, lifelong Virginia Tech guy. Brent fit the culture. Ultimately, he's a Frank Beamer disciple. If checks all the boxes. Great man. Didn't win. All right. James Franklin, Mike Gundy, the Mr. Oklahoma State Cowboy, on and on down the list. Sam Pittman, the perfect guy for the culture of Arkansas, gone. So right, and Bill Belichick, arguably the greatest coach of all time. The noise. I live in Charlotte, man. I mean, it's all anybody's talking about. And the Panthers have won the last 2 games. And Rico Dowdle went crazy yesterday for the Carolina Panthers against his former team, the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot of narratives, sports narratives around Charlotte, but the loudest one right now is Belichick. And so with the money juxtaposed with the demand that comes with the money and everything, it's a win or you're gone prospect. And I have defended Billy. I think Billy, and even though Florida fans continue to remind me of this, I'm not coming off it. I think the guy's a really good football coach. And yes, their schedule's very difficult. Incredible win against Texas, but you gotta win. And so there's a fever pitch in Gainesville, right? So it's a very, very demanding conference for all of them. And so the job is to win games. It's really simple.
Talking to Marty Smith here. Marty, what's your takeaway from the way Texas beats Oklahoma a week after not looking good against Florida? Oklahoma gets John Mateer back. Doesn't look, you know what, some of the mistakes he was making early on that were dropped interceptions, whatever, came back to bite him. He had some questionable decisions, showed a lot of heart. But like Oklahoma, we felt like we knew, and the reality is we don't. And Texas, people started writing that narrative way too early, and that seemed to be also a little too premature.
I think we knew Oklahoma before Mateer got hurt. I think that he really gutted that thing out. He's bleeding, and it was a whole thing. But that Texas defense, which got pushed around by Florida at the point of attack. Florida ran the football effectively, which opened up the passing game. Dallas Wilson makes his debut as a collegiate player and just was incredible. A lot went right for Florida that day, and Texas was not incredibly impressive. That defense was who we think they are against Oklahoma. They were flying around. They made Mateer's life hell. He was running all over the place. They did a great job on the back end as well, took advantage of some of those misfires, getting turnovers. And they Texas ran the football. Trey Wisner being back was big for Texas. And just like I'm talking about with Florida against Texas, when you can run the football, it's like the SEC is like the NFL. You got to run the football, man. You got to run the football. And Texas was able to do that with Trey and establish the line of scrimmage. And then Arch, I felt like, looked really good too. So that was more the Texas that we expected. I'm not an AP voter, but I think it was fair based on potential that they were the number 1 team to start the season. And they've taken some lumps. They've taken some medicine. But, man, they look good in that Red River rivalry. I still want to call it shootout. I'm an old school guy. But that was a big win for Sark. And it was a big win for Arch with all the narrative around him and whether he was capable of living up to the potential that we all feel like he has. And I feel like he did a really good job. Man, it takes a special young man, David, to know all that's out there. And as you guys have seen, Steve Sarkisian's number one message to Arch is plug them. Pay no mind to it, good or bad, because someone else's opinion is none of your business, to quote Coach Saint, to quote Coach Prime. And so to have that fortitude and still go out and be able to produce and be a leader to your teammates, to me, I don't know a lot of 20-year-olds that are wired like that, because that has to be hard.
Marty, before I let you go, you look at this Arkansas team that A&M is about to face. Bobby Petrino gets his first home game as the head coach, interim head coach. They play everybody competitively. They made that Tennessee game interesting. You know, their defense has had some issues. This is, I wouldn't call it a trap game per se, but A&M hasn't played it in Fayetteville in forever, since 2012, I think it is. How do you see this game as a potential curveball for A&M season?
I don't. If as long as they come out with the urgency with which they've played this whole year, I think they'll be okay. I said Saturday morning on the Marty and McGee program that even though now Coach Pittman is gone and Bobby Petrino's been elevated to the head coaching position, what really changes? Okay, I know that he fired some defensive staff and whatnot, but they were already scoring points. Taylon Green is a fantastic football player. He's so dynamic with the football. But Coach Petrino was calling the plays, and Arkansas was struggling to stop other teams defensively. So I don't see a lot of change coming there from that perspective. I do think that it's indisputable that those players were playing really hard for Coach Pittman too. So just fundamentally, I don't know that I'm expecting a seismic difference here, at least this season for Arkansas. So to me, if Texas A&M plays with the urgency and the discipline that they've displayed so far through 6 games, I just think Texas A&M's better, deeper, more talented. So on paper, to me, as long as they do what they do, I think they'll win the game.
Marty, appreciate you as always, my friend. Have a great week.
Always. Thank you guys, brother.
See you, man.